Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Break it down with the proper perspective.
You know, some people have been making a bit of a stir about the FAFO, F around and find out phase of the election cycle, because a lot of those people are at least coming online and making videos. I don't know if I trust those videos, but they're coming online making those videos saying, oh my God, I didn't know, I didn't realize, how come nobody told me? I ain't got time for that mess. You had plenty of opportunity. So as far as I'm concerned, you voted for Trump. This is what he said he was gonna do. You should be good. My point is, since you should be good, then you should be congratulating and clapping for all of this government shutdown stuff that's going on, right? Follow me with this now. So the conservatives, the Republicans, the Magas, the birthers, all of y'all. Now we get into the money now. Now let's talk about the money. Y'all love screaming for budget cuts like cheerleaders at a pep rally, but only when it's a GOP pep rally. Yeah, shut it down. Get rid of DEI, cut welfare, stop giving foreign aid. Y'all sound like y'all got drafted into the Republican Hunger Games. But if that's your team, that's your team. Okay, cool. You know, a lot of people say, well, black people are not a monolith. This is true. We're not a monolith. Maybe we should be, but right now we're not a monolith. So I'm not necessarily mad at a black Republican or black conservative. Y'all should be good. You like all of this government shutdown and saving of the money and spending less. You should be okay with that. I got a question for you though. If you're gonna roll with all of this Doge activity, that's really illegal, but that's another story. If you're gonna roll with all this Doge activity, and you're a black person on any scale of the political right, why aren't y'all asking anything about reparations when it comes to all of this money they spending? You know, a lot for a long time they always said, well, we'd never be able to give reparations. The cost is just so much, it's astronomical, and it would bankrupt the government. That's what they said. Well, if you have the Department of Government Efficiency and y'all are legitimately only closing down agencies under the behest of saving money, and y'all say y'all saving a lot of money, so if you're cutting all this government spending, why can't you take that money and put it towards reparations? Better yet, why aren't black, MAGA, conservative, social media influencers asking the Republican Party to take some of that Doge enacted money that they saved and put it towards reparations? Why aren't they demanding Trump sign an executive order? Why aren't they demanding the Republicans present a bill in the Senate or in Congress? Y'all love to say, I'll tell you why. Y'all love to say, we don't need government handouts. But the second Trump cuts a tax for a billionaire, y'all throw confetti like y'all got stock in Amazon. And then as soon as somebody said, well, we need to boycott, we don't need to boycott. I don't know if this is cognitive dissonance or political stupidity, because you keep going back to, I want reparations. And yet you keep telling us to side with the people that don't want to give us reparations. So what's the catch? What's the real grift? That's my question. Who's really grifting? Now, so let me get this straight. Tax breaks for the ultra rich? Good. Billions go to Ukraine. You okay with it? But when it comes to paying reparations to descendants of enslaved people who built the country's economy, suddenly the budget's looking real tight, bro. The calculator ain't calculating. Y'all turn into idiots and mathematical dullards. We don't know how we would do it. It's impossible to do. The amount of money they kicked out of that federal bank, out of the budget for COVID, they pulled money out of nowhere for COVID. And that was under Trump. So all you black Republicans, all you black conservatives, where you at? Why you hiding? Nah, we ain't gonna let this go. We ain't letting you off the hook with that. If you support shutting down these woke programs, then you should be pushing for all of that money that they save from shutting down these woke programs to be redirected to the people who deserve it. The FBA, the ADOS. And I'm using that in quotes because I personally don't like the labels, but I'm not going to fight and argue with people Kujichagulia says we all got the right to self-define. So if you want to label yourself as an FBA, then okay, cool. I'm going to run with that, bro. FBA, peace. ADOS, peace. Reparations, where you at? That's what I want to know. You can call yourself whatever you want. You can make up a lot of mess. The pretendians think they the real Cherokees. Okay, cool. But go knock on Trump's door. That's the thing. Y'all want to dress up as fiscal conservatives, but then you keep quiet when it's time to allocate funds to your own people. Now, it's bad enough that that's what white politicians do. And yeah, white politicians in the Republican Party and the Democrat Party do that. But again, we can move the Democrats. We can force them into something if we ask for it, if we demand it. We haven't demanded it. We've asked, and then we sit back patiently waiting for them to do the right thing. That ain't how it's done. You got to demand it. You got to demand it. This is the time. Like I said, Ayanna Pressley just reintroduced the bill. Now get this straight. Just because the bill is introduced doesn't mean the job is done. Now she knows this. I don't know if all of us know this. I don't know that all of us know that the only reason the bill has to be reintroduced every time is because the Republicans keep voting it down. All these bills, they don't just automatically go to the floor when somebody introduces it. They go to a committee. The committee has to vote yes that it goes to the floor. The committee's always been overrun, dominated by Republicans. They always say, yeah, we're not going to vote on this one. This one don't go nowhere. So again, all these black conservatives that tell you be mad at the Democrats, they're not telling you to be mad at the Republicans for not allowing the bill to come to the floor. Why is that? The grift. Clay Kane calls it the grift. So what I'm going to say is we must confront the reality that healing requires honesty. We must confront the reality that healing requires honesty. Denial only prolongs the pain. We cannot heal what we are unwilling to face. Now, to some of you, that might sound familiar. It would be great if it sounds familiar. That ain't me. That's not me talking. I'm quoting Dr. Joyce Degree from Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. And this quote speaks to the unwillingness of some to fully face the need for reparations as a form of healing. Now, this is not just something that would be directed towards the white people that don't believe it's needed, but this is also directed towards the black people who A, don't believe it's needed, or B, they say they believe it's needed, they say that they support it, but then they do everything to not support it. They're not being honest. All they're doing is trying to get you riled up so they can get more clicks. Now, I get it. We live in a YouTube world, and YouTube is paying big money. And apparently, it's way lot more money in saying, don't believe in nothing. Don't believe in anything. Don't support anything that's going to help you. That's what all these FAFO Republicans are finding out. But Dr. Joyce Degree's quote, we must confront the reality that healing requires honesty. Denial only prolongs the pain. We cannot heal what we are unwilling to face. This also speaks to those who spit half truths and only deal with one side of the problem, as if the Democrats are the only ones that's the problem. Right now, the Republicans run it all. They'll tell you, don't believe in the Democrats because for 2 years, Obama had control of the House. But he didn't have control of the Supreme Court, and he didn't have control of the subcommittees that put things onto the floor. They say the same thing about Biden. For 2 years of his presidency, he had the whole House, but he didn't have the Supreme Court, and he didn't have the subcommittees. Well, now the Republicans got the Senate, they got Congress, they got the White House itself, they got the Supreme Court, and they got all the subcommittees. And they got Elon Musk and Doge. So why aren't we yelling and screaming every day about reparations? Trump said, vote for me. What have you got to lose? We ain't got nothing to lose. Okay, so now it's time to put up or shut up. Where they at? The Republicans have full power now. It's on them to make things right. And it's on the black conservatives, whether they're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or got their own .com, it's on them to get us our reparations or else. And speaking of those black conservatives, since it's on them to get it, we need to hear way more talk from them. I need to hear way more talk from them. They flooded the timeline during the election cycle. They flooded the airwaves during the election cycle, telling you don't vote for a Democrat. Why aren't they flooding the timelines now, telling you here's how we're going to get Trump to give us the reparations?
Shabazz, break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Break it down with the proper perspective.